It is time for us to step into a world that is a little different than maybe we've known before. What we have found is more and more people are disengaged from work. They may be physically in their offices, but they're maybe mentally checked out. This is the absolute opposite of mindfulness. The work of mindfulness is to help people engage in this powerful work. And that's the topic of this week's show. My name is Holly Duckworth, and I am here with my co-host, Ravi Tangri, where we will share with you tips and insights on bringing mindfulness to leadership and work. Great to see you, Ravi.
You too, Holly. And I mean, this show is really, I love the line that you added a little while ago about, is it time to slow down to speed up your company? And really, that's like a friend of mine said, we don't have the time to do it quickly, because when we're rushing, so many mistakes happen. We wind up doing the wrong things. How do we make the time to take the right action?
Yeah, I think it's a balance point. You know, our world's gone to 24/7 global text messaging, Facebook, and that's making us asleep almost at the wheel. And mindfulness is that practice of slowing down to that natural pace that allows positive, powerful decisions to be made by CEOs and leaders around the world.
Right. And the thing is, mindfulness is a practice, right? It's something that we build via habit. But the challenge is, as you mentioned in your intro, that what's happening is we've built a habit in our workplaces now of being disengaged. Presenteeism is rising like crazy, where people are there, but it's hello, nobody home. And what we are talking about here is, how do we change the habit? Because you've either got people that are just rushing around frantically trying to react to everything, or people that are just out of it. How do you have people that are fully present, fully engaged in what you're doing? And that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I want to remind the audience too, we're human beings, not human doings. And we become a society that rewards the doing nature of it all versus the being nature of it all. And I think mindfulness, even as a word, is a little bit of a paradox for people, because mindful, well, of course, my mind is full. I've got the monkey mind. I've got, my kid's schedule and my life schedule and my work schedule, and I've got all these things going on. So of course that's mindful. But the paradox is that as we bring more mindfulness principles and practices into the workplace, it's actually about emptying the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And becoming more present and aware that when we are able to release all of that doing, we can be the highest and best human beings we are on the planet. And that's really a powerful place to operate as a leader.
And I mean, the research is pretty solid now, is that we cannot multitask as human beings. We thought we could, but it's just not possible in that way. And there's a lot more research coming out about the impact of mindfulness in the workplace, that it improves your focus. You become a much better listener. You can actually accept criticism and work with it and not take it as personally. Stress is released, and there's data that shows that it improves your leadership. I mean, there's one article I read recently that said about how it improves 3 qualities of attention, and that's stability, control, and efficiency. So instead of just wandering around, you focus on what you need to focus on. You get the work done, and you've got that ability to do that, and your effectiveness increases as you do that.
Yeah, I think it's important that we start rewarding people who slow down and who are present versus rewarding those who are working at 1 a.m, responding to emails at 1 a.m. And that's one of the things that I've really done as I grew my mindfulness practice and demonstrating this to my clients is I have my work hours, and I certainly from time to time will take things out of work hours, but my work-life integration, my mindfulness is just as important. So I can be fully present to you. I need you to understand that I may not be available 24/7. And some companies reward these employees who are around all the time, and it does shift. But we know the quality of life is different in other parts of the world because they do that. And Americans, we've created a culture that says more. And I know you're in Canada too. I think sometimes you guys have a different lifestyle than we do even here in the US. So how do we look at being fully present and rewarding that even when sometimes maybe we have to wait a little while to get that response.
And it's not just rewarding it. As a leader, you model it, right? So people will do what you do. Even if you tell them to go home at 5 or 6, if you're staying till 7 or 8, guess what? They may start doing that as well. So we need to move into our tips here. So in terms of how do you make mindfulness work for you at work?
Yeah, I love this first tip. Talk honestly. When all else fails, go back to honesty. Talk honestly with your team about what mindfulness means, and be careful about your energy. Don't get evangelical about this. We're going to do this, and this is how it works, and come to the church of mindfulness. But make it a process that naturally grows, that your team can be a part of creating what that mindfulness practice is for you. Maybe it's just simply having a 1-minute closed eye process before you start each meeting, but really talk honestly about why this is important and how you're going to integrate it as a team.
And I'd go even further than that and say, start your mindfulness as a leader, start your practice yourself, and make sure that you are well on your way before you start sharing, so you can share examples of how it has worked for you. And then one of the ways to start it for you and to start it for your team is to have people start by focusing on what is it that they enjoy the most. If they're very disengaged, what part of their work do they enjoy? What part of your work do you enjoy? And start with, when you're doing that, to really focus and be present, to let go of the distractions and really be there in what you're doing.
That 1-minute practice can naturally grow to a 10-minute practice. And then certainly taking time to reflect, maybe just once a week at your board meeting or your staff meeting, look back on the week and think about how your mindfulness practice supported you. And one way that is very clear for me often is that I find times where, because I am a little bit more mindful, I am able to respond to a situation rather than react to it. So take time to celebrate how mindfulness is improving your peace, your calm, your poise, and your prosperity within your company.
So we're going to be doing a whole lot more on this in our deep dive show on Thursday. That's for our Insider Club members. You can find out about that at presentshow.com. And we will be seeing you very soon. Have an amazing day.